So now let's go ahead and create a health system. So let's go ahead, let's create a heart sprite. We're going to create 2 heart sprites, and we're going to go to edit image and click on this, click on import images, graphics should be here in objects. So import images, and let's go into objects and okay. Oh, wait. Here we go. So now you can see here is the hearts. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take 2 of them. First one is gonna be this heart, and the second one we're gonna grab. You got to be really precise. Make sure to take up as little space as possible. And now that is a brush. Now we can either create a brand new sprite and do this, or we can do SPR hearts or heart 1, and then we'll go into here. And you can click on this brushes right here because I just copied it. So once you select it, you do Control C, and there we go. And we're going to create another, and we're going to do this, and there we go. Next thing, auto trim all frames, and there you go. It's been done. So we're going to remove SPR heart 1. We're going to click on it, click on delete, or you can right click and click delete, and here we go. We're just going to do 3 per second, 3 frames per second, and you can see here it's already kind of done. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep it at the top left because we could center it, but just to make the code for this a little bit easier, we'll do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to have health for the player, and we're going to have a variable called show UI, and we're going to make it equal to true. And in the future, if we, for example, want to do cutscenes, or we want to show off, a character doing something, we can turn this off. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to go into draw, actually, not draw, sorry, draw GUI, and we're going to start drawing hearts. Now, this depends on the amount of HP that you want your player to have. So we're going to go into here, and we're going to finally give our player HP. Now, you can choose how many as you want. I'm going to give my player 5 HP, or 5 hit points. And we're going to go into controller, and we're going to say in draw GUI, if show UI equals true, or if show UI, these can work either way. Actually, I'll just say equals true. I just like to mix and match it sometimes. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a for loop, and just to let you know, what draw GUI does is that it ignores the camera, it ignores the zoom, and it draws on a 1:1 scale. And what it means is that when we zoom in, we're zooming in. But if you dragged in a heart, and I'll go ahead and add an asset layer, the heart would look like this if you were if you were not zooming in. If you just cut out an entire part of it, pixel by pixel, because remember, when you have a view, usually it's, or when you have a view of something, if you zoom out or zoom in, the sprite will of course look bigger or smaller. Now when you draw something in draw GUI, it ignores it. Now it's very hard for me to explain, but it just takes a lot of practice. I don't use draw GUI as much because I'm lazy. No, I don't use draw GUI as much because it's really difficult once it starts, once you start getting into buttons and stuff. But we're going to go into OBJ controller, we're going to run a for loop, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to run 2 for loops. Now we're going to run a for loop and draw every single heart. So we're going to draw 5 hearts, and then we're going to draw and then we're going to draw the actual hearts that the player has over them. Now what we're going to also want to do, and we're going to add a variable here, max HP. So our HP is 5, max HP is 5. And we'll make HP equal to 4 just for this. And over here in OBJ controller, what we're going to do is we're going to say for I, var I equals 0, or for I equals 0. You can choose OBJ player dot max HP I++, and then we're going to do draw sprite and sprite SPR heart1. We want to draw the subimage. Remember, it's subimage number 1 if we want to draw the empty heart. So we're going to draw empty hearts in that, and then we're going to draw the actual hearts over it. So 1 and 0 plus I times, and we're going to want to get the width of heart 1. You can either go here or you can do SPR get width. We're just going to do, since the width here of this sprite is 14, we'll do that. We're going to put them right next to each other. I times 14, and Y is going to be 0 because the origin is at 0. And there we go. And the next thing we want to do is we want to do for HP, we're going to do the exact same thing, except we're going to start at 0. And there we go. So if we go ahead and we do draw GUI, and we go load up our game, and that's what I'm doing. Okay, what a shame. Ooh, that's, oh, wait a minute, this is invisible. Since we didn't set this to, we'll go ahead and we'll, you know what, we'll set this to an invisible sprite, sprite 13. Or no, you know what, we won't give it any sprite at all, but if you want to, you can drag this into another sprite or drag this code, or let's see here, I'm just curious. Instance. Okay, here we go. So if you want to track down the controller, you drag it in. So you drag in the controller into the room. Of course, you've already done it, but you click on here in instance properties in its layer, and it will select it for you. So if you want to know where it is, you can do that. But since we don't give it any sprite, we're not going to see that sprite. But you can see up here, we can see all the hearts that it has. So there we go. Now, you may be wondering, you know, why is it like this? Remember, if you were to load up this image on a 1:1 scale and not zoom in on your computer, this is what the heart would look like if you're not zooming in. Now, there's a couple of ways you can fix this, but what we're going to try to do is we're actually going to try to maybe quadruple the size. So we'll do scale image 4 times height. And just to let you know, you can change either one and it will auto scale to it, so you don't have to worry. For 40, 52. Okay. And there you go. And it should stay to that way. Heart 1. And what we're going to do here is, since its new width is 56, we're actually going to try to do this just for the sake of it. You can either change this to 56, or we can do it this way. And I'll throw it up here. Var width equals sprite get width SPR heart 1. So if you want to test that out, do this and replace 14 with width. So there you go. And if we go ahead and we throw this in, there you go. The hearts are, oh wow, they're really big. I'll half that size, and that's one of the reasons why it would be more convenient just to get the width and do that. And there we go. So there's our hearts. You know, if you want to put them in the bottom left, you know, there's a multitude of ways to do that. You could do this, and I'll go into OBJ controller. What you would do is you would get var room or u height equals draw or GUI, or okay, display GUI get GUI height. I don't know whether it's GUI or GUI, by the way, but I'm just gonna call it GUI. But you would do here in Draw Sprite, remember you put the Y value, so you would do view height, and you would subtract the height of the sprite, so because of how it's aligned, so you would do minus height, and that should work. And here we go. So you can see here the hearts are following us around. Now, just to let you know, you don't need to use Draw GUI in order to draw this kind of stuff, but it's going to look smoother. And I heard there's a lot of algebra and a lot of really complicated math involved with making it stay here, because just to let you know, if, for example, you were to walk to the side, or if you were able to get out of the room, you know, some things might go wrong. So you can see here it's following us, and here we go. So also another if you don't want the UI to show when you're transitioning, you can do and room rm next equals noon, because remember, if rm next is equal to something, then it's not going to show. So if rm next equals something, it's going to set it. So there we go. We leave, and it changes the UI. So there we go. That's how we get it to show our HP. And that's how you implement health. I'm Ben from Suspendy Studios, and thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.